Here's a story of how I was fined $1,000 by my local MLS for a clear cooperation violation. In 2023, I had a builder who had just wrapped up new construction in my neighborhood, and he hired me to sell the home. We brought on a stager to bring the house to life with furniture, art, and accessories. And when you do that, you typically work backwards based on the stager's timeline, so you can book the photographer once everything is perfectly positioned and ready to shoot. In this case, she expected to be done by the end of the day on Tuesday. We would photograph on Wednesday and list in MLS on Thursday. So I ordered the sign company to install the sign one day in advance of listing in MLS. Now keep in mind, these are not open house signs that you carry around in your car. These are heavy post signs that weigh a ton and are about as tall as I am. So there's absolutely no way that I can install one of these on my own. That's why we hire a sign company to do it. And this is where things started to go awry. The stager informed me early Wednesday morning that she hadn't been able to get everything done, and she needed an extra day to complete the house because it just wasn't photo ready. One thing I'm not going to do is publish a listing as active when the pieces are not perfectly in place. Could you imagine photographing a house with unmade beds, chairs still wrapped in plastic, and rugs rolled up in the corner? I would be cutting my seller off at the knees with a market premiere like that. So I scrambled to push the photographer back one day, but in the process, I could not stop the sign installation in time. So the sign got installed on Wednesday, and that became the first public marketing of the house. Remember, according to Clear Cooperation, you've got one business day to list in MLS when you do any public marketing. And now the clock was ticking and the house wasn't ready. So I either could have saved myself and brought the house to MLS before it was ready, no pictures, staging not complete, or I could take the financial hit, and my choice was door number 2. No due process. No opportunity to explain the scenario. $1,000 fine for a sign that went in a day earlier than it should have. Someone took this picture, probably an agent with no business of their own to be proud of, and they were allowed to submit it anonymously. There was no recourse for me, and I paid it. But it was better for me to take that fine than rush my client's property to market before it was damn good and ready. I respect rules. I actually like rules, but that punitive policy of 24 hours is problematic when you're trying to do right by your client and hiccups happen. And the idea of a fine with no due process, no involvement of the sellers themselves or consideration of their wishes is something we have the right to question as agents.